Florence Burr, who had been in the Senate for about 12 years, and Florence was retiring, and how Dawn really wanted to run a woman, and as they looked at the district, you know, as she's going on and on, I'm thinking, when did she just get to the point? You know, I want to go back to my show. But she finally said that God was recruiting me to run for the Senate. And I thought this woman was out of her mind. But she went on to say that she thought that because I served on a lot of boards and I had been a leader in my community, that I would get a lot of votes and Don would be there to support me, and she was sure I could gather other support. She didn't bother to tell me at that time that I'd be running against a man named Dick Bearden, who was the nuts and bolts of the Democratic Party, and that I probably didn't stand a chance to win. She didn't say all of that, and because I wanted to get her off the phone, I said, okay, I'll do it. Call me in midweek. Well, she called midweek, and we met, and I got started, and then everywhere I went and shook hands, people would smile until they'd say, who is your opponent? And I'd say, Dick Bearden. And then I'd see the smile leave their face. So I knew pretty much that it was going to be a losing situation for me. But what I decided to do was make it a winning situation. And that's how I try to operate, even though I can see that the end result might not be what I want it to be. I still try to make it an empowering situation for me. So I decided to run a very, very clean campaign. I didn't say anything negative. I was positive with Dick. I met Dick and I met his family. I met the other people who were running in the campaign. And I made it sure that I was setting a ground level for myself so that if I ever wanted to run again, I would have friends. Well, to make a long story short, it finally happened. I got another phone call on another night, 17 years later. Only this time, I wasn't watching television, I was sleeping. And the person identified himself as the Speaker of the Iowa House. And again, someone else was leaving office, and they had looked again, same district, I hadn't moved in all those years. They were looking again at the district, and they thought that I would be a very good candidate for the House of Representatives. Well, in all of these years, I had made all of these friends. So Dick Bearden, my first opponent, became one of my staunch supporters, and with the help of others, I was able to win this election. Now, along the way, I had been empowered by many strong women, like former Lieutenant Governor Sally Peterson, who one day looked at me and said, "Did you ever think of running for political office? I think you would be a good politician." And people like Joanne Zimmerman, who said, you know, if you want to be a good politician, you always have to court your constituents. People like the late, great Evelyn Davis, who said to me, you might face some discrimination on the Hill, but every day, straighten up your back and walk tall and be proud for all of it. And people like the late, great Barbara Boatwright, who said to me along the way, you've got it in you. Keep going. Don't give up. You will be elected. So, after 18 years, I finally got there. I met Representative McHale, who agreed to be my mentor, and I started along a new path. What I learned is that this is the job God has been preparing me for all along the way, because it fits. I'm in a district where I know the people. I've worked with them for 40 years. My district is right where we're sitting on the east side. I know the families. I know their concerns. I hear the cry of their children. I hear the cry of the poor, because there are very, very many low-income families in this district. I hear the cry of the minorities, because there are many minorities in this district. Asian, African American, Latinos. I understand the single mother because, as Sally told you, that's what I have always been, a single mother. I know the plight of the disabled because my son is very disabled. And as I travel along with him, I see the kind of treatment that our disabled in our astute community still receive. I've worked with all kinds of people with the kind of diversity training that I've done all these years. I know the middle class because my father was a postal worker and my mother was a maid. I support the union because my father belonged to the union, and I used to watch him in union strikes and hear the kinds of working conditions that the people in the unions needed. I know how our disenfranchised children work to find a place in society. I understand the unemployed because so many of my own personal family members who live right in this district are unemployed. I talked to a young man the other day and he told me how he was a felon and because of that he couldn't vote. So I understand those people who have been incarcerated because I've worked with them in the classroom as well as have family members again who have been incarcerated. I understand the gay, the lesbian, the transgender, and the people with different sexual orientations because when I was in the classroom, many of those people came out to me. Who is it in this district that I don't understand? Who is it in this district that I haven't walked a mile with? I love people, I love my constituents, and I'm a hard worker. It wasn't enough for me, Sally, to retire and ride off into the sunset like many people do, and that's fine. But I knew I had another calling that was probably a little bit broader and a little bit greater than high school teaching. And I realize now that all these years God was preparing me for this, step by step by step. Now that I'm here, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to speak out, and I'm going to stand up because it's a right fit. I'm not afraid to stand alone on an issue that others may find unpopular, others on the Hill, because I know it. I've lived it. I'm not afraid to stay up at night and make phone calls. I'm not afraid to stand in a picket line. I'm not afraid to be unpopular because I've already had a career. I have nothing to lose and everything. I'm happy, I'm fired up, and I'm humble. As I look out to all of you who came this morning to support me, who gave money to support me, who speak well of me, you are my reason for being fired up and being happy. I'll never let you down. I can't project the future to know what's going to happen to me, but as long as I can walk and talk and stand and speak, I will be your representative. You can count on that. You can count on me. God bless you and have a good day.